Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you very much for joining me here today. We're taking a look at FIS. And what we're doing was we're just going to look at the technical analysis. There's no fundamentals here. If you have insight on what happened with the price action here today, please feel free to comment below and let us know so we can all learn together. But again, these are pretty much just strictly technical analysis so you can find good entry points and understand best practice. Now, I'm not a financial advisor. I have been in the industry for a very long time, but this is only for educational purposes, right? So always do your own research and just be smart about, investing. That's the whole point of this, right? To help educate you so we can become better traders, one trade at a time. Also note that I do have a link to my Patreon account down below if you'd like to show your support. I have a few signal groups that I'm going to be working on soon, so we can try to get you up to speed on current events, as well as good entry points and those things there. That's more to come later. But for now, feel free to join the Telegram community and my Discord channel, all in the description below. Now, without further ado, let's go ahead and check it out. All right, folks, let's go ahead and take a look at FIS. Before we do, we always look at Bitcoin and Ethereum first, just to kind of get a baseline on the market so we understand kind of what's going on overall, because it really helps to know how these coins are reacting to what's going on in the market, specifically with Bitcoin being the catalyst for all the price movement in most cases, right? So let's take a look at that here. Now, we'll look at Bitcoin first. So with Bitcoin, here's what we're looking at now. Simply put, Bitcoin's been struggling lately, right? We all know it's been struggle bus city, and it's been difficult to kind of get a gauge on it. And as we can see, the price is super, super low. So as you can also notice, the 50-day moving average and the 200-day moving averages are above. I was hoping for the price to consolidate a little bit higher here and then break that resistance level of 42,300, but that didn't happen today. We sold off major, almost hit 33,000. Actually, we did hit 33,400, and now we're consolidating at a lower state. So not the best scenario. And I apologize, I forgot to mention this. This is the 4-hour chart on Binance trading application, and we're using TradingView. And if you need to know how to enable that, just click TradingView in the top right corner. Okay. So that's kind of what's going on there with Bitcoin. Nothing too fancy that's causing everything to kind of come down, and it's been quite unfortunate, which has been a state of depression the last 11 days since the Elon candle, as it's grown to be called. Either way, moving on, that is Bitcoin. Again, 4-hour chart, nothing great to report there. Same scenario here with Ethereum. Really the same exact thing. I mean, the price is still trending under the resistance level, the 200-day moving average. And there is a line here, of course, just so you know, roughly at about 3,100 rather. That is a potential resistance level. So what could happen, we could see this line and the moving average intersect soon, and that could cause it to be a stronger resistance or a stronger support if it decides it wants to break above. But unfortunately, Ethereum's behaving very similarly to Bitcoin in a lot of ways. It's almost a mirror image. It's performed a little better recently, but not that much. So it's hard to really say what's going on. I would still venture to guess that other altcoins like XRP and ADA are taking up a lot of the market capitalization, and they are essentially the ones that'll possibly recover quicker. But it's a little too early to tell with these constant sell-offs. It's kind of just damaging all the altcoins, minus FIS. All right, now we'll look at this a little closer, but just note that the data that we have here is limited because it was recently introduced to Binance, I believe, on the 2nd of May. Correction, 2nd of March, right? So it's been roughly 2.5 months in on Binance, and just bear in mind it was also included elsewhere too, if I'm not mistaken. What was the I can't remember the exchange, but I know it has been traded. I think their ICO was somewhere in December of last year. So that being said, I just want to note that there is a $5, the all-time high is $5. So this price that we see here with the most recent high, 487, is essentially not the highest point, okay? So just bear that in mind. I just want to preface that. But moving forward here with FIS, this is the 1-day chart. And if we can see, significant amount of volume. For some strange reason, it likes to go dead and then just pick up out of nowhere. Okay, so I saw that happen roughly 3 weeks ago. And then, of course, Bitcoin decided I want to sell off. Something to note here too, though, is this is the 25th. This is the third day Bitcoin sold off last month as part of the continuous downtrend that it happened. So with that being said, the prices went up pretty good and ramped up. So that tells me that there's something fundamentally correct with FIS where it can increase contrary and contradictory, so to speak, to Bitcoin. So this increase right here is out of the ordinary. Bitcoin didn't experience that, so I'm speculating that was some kind of fundamental catalyst. And as we can see, a lot of the selling off from Bitcoin finally caught up, right? It has to catch up eventually. Coins can only do so well on their own without Bitcoin, having some state of consolidation. We want to see consolidation from Bitcoin. We haven't had the benefit of a more than 2 days of consolidation. It's literally been day and a half sell off, day and a half sell off. It's really annoying the heck out of a lot of people, including myself. I apologize if I sound frustrated with it, but it's really just damaging everything right now, and it's not really helping. But what's cool about FIS is the fact that they are increasing right here when Bitcoin essentially sold off, right? So we'll look a little bit closer, but I like that sign. That's a good sign. Only thing I don't love is the inconsistency with the volume, but it makes sense because the fact that the price is too low for comfort. In other words, $1.25 is the support level that essentially rejected the price and forced it to come back up. So that's a good sign. As you can see, though, the price bounced off of the 50-day moving average and was rejected. So that could be the major resistance level. We're roughly at about $2.82. Okay. So looking at the 4-hour chart, I like what I see here. The RSI is still in good shape, even with all the strong movement. That tells us that the price was way too low for way too long, and that the average true range should be much higher, even higher than where it's at right now. It should probably be in the range of $2.50 to $3. So I'm speculating based on the price action and the fact that the RSI is basically telling us that we still have room for improvement, even though the price is consolidating a little bit, that we should see further price movement in an upward fashion based on that sentiment alone. Consistent volume, I like this. I hope the volume can continue. If the volume does taper off, be mindful of that and be aware that that could be a sign of a reversal. But the MACD is implying that we are seeing a momentous trend in an upward fashion. So all in all good things here, specifically so for swing traders, because the fact that the 4-hour chart is best suited for anybody swing trading for 1 to 30 days or longer, and these are all good indicators on the 4-hour chart. Furthermore, too, the 2 moving averages here are probably the most impactful as well on the 4-hour chart. We got the 50 and the 50 and the 200-day moving average. This yellow line is the 50, and the 200-day is right here. So bear this in mind: the 200-day moving average carries the most weight on the 4-hour chart for all currency. That being said, the price right now is currently rejecting at this level. So that resistance level is about $2.46 plus or minus a little bit. So you can expect to see a resistance level at about 246. We can round up to say 247 moving forward. So if you were to see the price break above and stay above for just say 30, 60 minutes, that'd be give us good confirmation to know that the price is moving in upward fashion again, and that resistance level was working as a support. But all in all, I really like what I see here from the 4-hour chart. Good bullish momentum, and it tells me that we're likely to see more movement in an upward fashion, and it'll probably move a lot faster if Bitcoin can just figure things out for a couple more days. All you gotta do is make up your freaking mind, right? All right, let's move on to the 15-minute chart. So let's take a look here. Now, looking at the 15-minute chart, there's a few things to identify. Obviously, the volume is up and down, right? It's going really hard up, and we're seeing a massive retracement. Up hard, retrace, up hard, retrace. But it is working itself into a channel. Usually when you see this kind of upward direction, it works itself into a slight channel, which you'll see here. And I'm just going to randomly mark these spots here. This isn't official. Actually, yeah, we'll just go with kind of the recent highs. But just randomly throwing this in here. You can kind of see that it's working itself into a channel. And usually when there's a channel that's moving in that direction, it'll break upwards eventually. That's the common trend. It's not 100%. Again, it could totally reverse and come back down, but based on the RSI on the 4-hour chart, I'm speculating this will continue to work itself through this channel, and it'll test one of these two support levels. Well, pretty much this only support level will kind of continue upward, and it should break above, because this resistance line has been tested twice, and it should and likely will continue to trend upwards as it has. I like it when there's an upward consolidation pattern. That's a good sign for an upward breakout. So just be mindful of that, kind of pay attention. That could essentially occur. Now, is it guaranteed? No, of course not. If Bitcoin decides it wants to go back down to 33 or 30,000, then we likely won't see that happen. But if we can get a couple more days of consolidation and from Bitcoin, possibly an increase, then I think we're going to be in much better shape, and this will likely take off. But again, they're all pretty much all altcoins right now are reliant on Bitcoin making up its mind if it wants to go sideways or not. If it does, we're in good shape. Furthermore, all the indicators here, sorry about that, all the indicators here are looking pretty good, honestly. So if we see the RSI, of course, and the MACD, they're kind of normal. There's not much else you can see. Because honestly, when it comes to the RSI, on the 15-minute chart, I really just look for extreme movement in either over 70 or under 70. So just something to note if you're looking at the RSI here, first of all. And I like to try to teach this in my videos so you can use RSI effectively. Because the common rule of thumb is that, okay, RSI is over 70, so I need to sell, right? That's the kind of the general idea. Don't apply that right away. In other words, wait for the price to come back down, the RSI to taper off and either start moving down or cross over the plane of 70 again. So let me explain that here. So if we see this RSI, this guy right here, peaks right over 70. Now that's only right here approximately, right? So that's essentially right when the RSI goes over 70. And it was like, it's overbought. Oh my gosh, we got to sell. Don't do that. Be careful, be cautious. You want to wait for further indication, right? That's why you don't use the RSI on its own. But if you were to just say only use the RSI, let the price continue upwards. And then when you see it hit its peak, again, you never truly know when the peak is, wait for it to start coming back down. So in this plane here or this plane here, try to find a good exit point. In other words, if you follow that up, right about this range here, even the lowest point is right here. And then if you follow it even further down, it's still right here. So you can kind of compare those two, the RSI versus the price action. Selling as soon as the RSI jumps over 70 is a bad idea. However, selling or considering trimming some of your position when the RSI starts to make its way back down under 70 is the best way to approach that. Okay, so just try to remember that. That is advantageous in situations like this. Obviously, there's a lot of price movement, and it doesn't always work this way. But generally speaking, that is an easy thing to understand and a really good way to benefit from it. Okay, so I just wanted to point that out. Now let's go ahead and look at the 1-minute chart, see if there's any potential good entry points. And what I'll do is I'm going to turn on the MACD, the VWAP, the volume weighted average price, and the EMA line. In other words, we see the VWAP here. This is the volume weighted average price. It tells us what the price is based on the average volume in the last 24 hours. Okay, so 24 hours, we're looking at approximate price, which is right at where the price is at right now. It's supposed to be at about $2.40, and that's what the price is approximately right now. So basically just telling us that there is consolidation. As you can see, it's kind of working its way closer and closer and closer to the VWAP line. This is neither bad nor good, it just happens sometimes, and that's basically just a consolidation period. This is another reason why we might see a breakout occur, because consolidation periods after a strong increase can either go up or down, but it's working itself into a channel that should likely shoot up. So that's the guess there. Educated guess, right? Based on all the patterns that we see. This is, history tends to repeat itself in cryptocurrency, right? So that being said, that's kind of where the VWAP is, and the benefit and the most important thing to look at on the 1-minute chart is to identify if the VWAP is working as a support, which it presently is, and to take entry only after the VWAP line has been tested 3 times, maybe at least just say twice, right? We also furthermore want to use the EMA line. So let's turn that on, and as you can see here, the price is currently under EMA, but it's trying to break above. Now EMA is the exponential moving average. It kind of just tells us momentum. And if you can kind of see here, when it's over the line, it's bullish. When it falls under, it's bearish. With this price action being as violent as it has lately, it's really hard to get a good gauge on it. But as we start to see more consolidation, it's going to be easier to get a read on it and to figure out what it's actually deciding to do. So the key takeaway here is that you want to make sure to wait for the price to be above VWAP, step number one. Make sure you get confirmation no less than 3 green bars above VWAP. Furthermore, we also want to see 3 green bars preferably up over the Ema line. Okay, now this is an easy example, of course, because it just happened. Doesn't always work out this way, but here is an example of what that looks like. So if you look right here, this is 1 solid green bar, we got a red bar, and then 3 more green bars. So these 3 is what I look for before I take entry. So I would likely take an entry right there as a result of seeing 3 solid green bars closing over the EMA and the VWAP. Main reason why I do that is because it gives me confirmation knowing it's moving in a bullish momentum, and that I would likely just take a small position and sell somewhere in this range up here as it starts to consolidate and or reverse. Okay. Again, you can see consolidation, it can go up sometimes, could go down, but for me, a little gain like that, what is that? That's a little over 3%, almost 4%, depending on where you get in and out. That's great. I love that. I shoot for 1 to 3% per day trade. Obviously a total portfolio growth of 1% per day. That's neither here nor there, but for a day trade, I like to see something like that. Okay, so just keep that in mind. That is essentially what you want to look for. So just be mindful of these indicators. They're here to help you. They help you understand the big picture and what's going on without truly understanding all the fundamentals. So always, again, do your own research and make sure you're wise and you're careful. Also, very last thing too is when you do take positions, never take a full position unless you know FIS is the last coin you're ever going to invest in. Okay. The reason why I say that is because you can get wrecked really hard if you take a position and lose, take a full position and then you lose. For me, adding to my position as I get confirmation is the best way to go. It works very well. Again, I'm a cautious trader. I'm a careful trader. I think there's too many, wow, 10x, OMG, smiley face, FOMOs out there that really just screw it all up for cryptocurrency. Yes, you can 10x your profits, and yes, you can do very well, but you can also get destroyed if you're not careful. So to me, taking small wins each and every day is the most important thing to being a successful trader, because I'm constantly growing my wallet by 1% every single day. That's exponential growth, and you can get very far with very small growth as long as you have the right temperament and the right sense of things. So that's why I try to instill that in my videos, so we can all learn and grow together and be better traders instead of overzealous and just chaotic. I went up 20% one day and down 13 the next, and I would much rather a 1 to 5% growth every day. And sure, it happens. You take 1 or 2% losses once in a while, but if you utilize these tactics, I would say that you're going to be much more successful. Either way, enough about my rant. Apologize for that. I hope you all found benefit. If you haven't joined my Patreon channel, please let me know. I'm going to start doing some groups there where we actually project future price movement and actually help you find good entry points. Okay, so we're going to figure that out in due time. I'm also going to do some live action technical analysis moving forward. So we're going to do some live and we'll go from there. Right? Kind of just trying to improve, trying to get you all where you need to go. So thanks again for watching. I appreciate your time. We'll see you in the next video. Take care.